at its very essence, based on my monitoring work on 200 farms across the UK, I can now say that I'm personally firmly convinced that soil health is one of the key threats to all grazing operations, if not all farming operations across the UK. And that's hitting the bottom line by shortening grazing seasons, therefore extending housing periods. It's shortening growing seasons and leading to burning off, even still. And in very wet winters like the one we're just coming off the back of, all of that wet lying land is almost exclusively a soil health issue. And the best way to describe poor soil health is compaction. Essentially, that ground is compacted. That's why it's poaching. That's why it's not accepting water. That's why your animals have got to come in, basically. How do we improve soil health on grazing operations sort of in the West Country? Essentially, there's a number of different, actually very achievable, manageable strategies that we can look at. The first thing is we need to address management factors. So if we're set stocking, for example, then we need to absolutely be moving to a rotational grazing system. By doing that alone, we can look at double grass production just straight off the bat. But aside from that, to really sort of fast track the system, if you like, we can be looking at mechanical interventions like subsoiling, roller slitting, or the use of gypsum, for example, to essentially sort of open up the soil, allow it to become free draining. And from that alone, we should also see an increase in grass production, as well as that extension of the grazing season. So we're shortening housing, for example, or otherwise reducing the kind of damage into the shoulders. So poor soil health is bringing systemic weaknesses to all grazing operations in the UK, upland, lowland, beef and sheep across the board. And essentially, it's leading to those long housing periods because soil lies wet, because it's got no structure, it doesn't drain, irrespective of soil types. Don't think you're having to house because you're on heady land. You're housing because your soils are knackered, basically. And equally, your land is burning off because it's compacted, it's got no aggregate structure to it, and it's not because of where you live or the type of soil you're on. So I think probably one of the main ways that we've looked to improve soil health is to shift to some kind of rotational grazing practice. That very much addresses the causes of the issues that we're dealing with day to day.